Hi, I'm Charles, and you're watching The State of the Republic. This is the State of the Republic special report on EPA Administrator Scott Pruitt. One of the things that characterizes the modern Republican Party is a hatred of the environment and science without parallel in any political party in the developed world. And there is no greater exemplar of that than Scott Pruitt. Pruitt has stated that he believes it is God's will to obtain temporary economic growth at the expense of the long-term future of the planet, and has received hundreds of thousands of dollars in fossil fuel industry donations throughout his career. Pruitt previously served as the Attorney General of the state of Oklahoma, where he spent most of his time suing the Obama administration on behalf of fossil fuel companies unhappy about regulations preventing pollution, and therefore cutting down on their profits. Pruitt went so far as to literally copy-paste arguments from fossil fuel lobbyists into his court documents and briefs against the Obama administration's regulatory actions. Pruitt was confirmed to head the EPA on a mostly party-line vote, with Senators Joe Manchin of West Virginia and Heidi Heitkamp of North Dakota crossing the line and voting for him, despite technically being Democrats. And he was confirmed despite him lying to Congress about his previous use of a private email during his time as Oklahoma's Attorney General, and before those records could be released. Pruitt then proceeded to try to destroy the EPA from within, trying to eliminate the environmental protections for basically anything and everything. Pruitt has worked to eliminate the Clean Power Plan, clean water protections, fuel mileage standards for cars, and prohibitions against cancer-causing pesticides, etc., etc. Much of his worst ideas are currently bogged down in court, but he still has been able to do quite a bit of damage. Pruitt has been in the news more recently, though, because of his long track record of unethical and most likely illegal behavior. Pruitt's first ethical issues came about as a result of his abuse of taxpayer resources. Pruitt has had a habit of using federal dollars to pay for first-class travel for himself, supposedly obtaining a blanket waiver from regular federal standards requiring cheaper coach travel due to nebulous security concerns. When pressed on the blanket waiver, which is illegal under federal regulations, Pruitt's team backed off their claim of initially of a blanket waiver and cited as a security concern an incident where someone came up to Pruitt and yelled profanities at him for destroying the environment. Yes, such a threat. His constituents and the people he's supposed to be serving telling him he's doing a bad job. Such a threat. It should be noted that Pruitt conveniently flies coach when someone else isn't paying for it, and much of Pruitt's travel at government expense seems to be aimed at preparing for a potential run for office, like the Senate in Oklahoma, or possibly for president. Pruitt has also had exorbitant security-related expenses, having a security team of 20 people providing around-the-clock protection, including when he is not on the job and on vacation at places like Disneyland. In marked contrast to Obama-era administrators who generally had a part-time two-person detail. The security has already cost taxpayers millions of dollars, and is diverting EPA resources from doing their jobs of, protecting the environment and making sure that we don't drink lead in the water. Pruitt again claims that this is necessary for security reasons, but the EPA has yet to release any information proving any critical threats to him, and there are no records of any investigations into any threats. Pruitt has attempted to abuse his security detail for personal gain as well, once ordering the lead agent on his detail to use the lights and sirens on their car because he was late for dinner. When this agent refused, Pruitt had him reassigned a couple of days later. Pruitt further spent $45,000 on some sort of secure phone booth in his office, but this waste doesn't begin to compare to what he actually wanted, but as far as we know, did not actually get. Pruitt reportedly requested a $100,000 a month membership in a private charter jet group, which would have allowed unlimited private jet travel, a bulletproof desk, a bulletproof SUV, and a multi-car motorcade to avoid traffic. Such a good use of taxpayer resources. Pruitt's ethical issues with lobbyists also abound. with the most recent controversy being set off by revelations that Pruitt obtained a sweetheart deal from a lobbyist couple for housing in D.C., staying at their house for $50 a night, paid only for the nights that he was there. Pruitt proved to be unable to pay for even that, causing his lobbyist landlord to pester him about rent money and eventually have the locks changed on him. One of the companies that the lobbyist in question worked for conveniently had a project up for approval before the EPA, which was approved rather rapidly. I'm sure there's absolutely no link there. Pruitt also appointed a banker friend of his to run a Superfund site. This banker in question has been banned for life from the industry for shady practices and previously helped Pruitt obtain a $830,000 mortgage on an Oklahoma public servant's salary from before he came to Washington. Pruitt's constant barrage of unethical behavior can largely be attributed to the fact that he continues to rely on a close-knit group from his Oklahoma days. A largely sycophantic group that exists primarily to advance him and his interests. Pruitt has also rewarded his sycophants financially, using a section of the Safe Water Drinking Act designed to allow the EPA to hire experts to reward them with extra bonuses after the White House rejected his proposal to pay them more. Washington Republicans have for the most part defended Pruitt, ironically casting this as a fight between Pruitt and the quote-unquote swamp, particularly people who don't like corruption and would like the air to be breathable. Democrats have publicly called for Pruitt to resign, and while the White House and congressional Republicans are for the most part defending him, it is increasingly likely that Pruitt will get axed due to the massive public backlash to his profligate spending. That does it for this special report on EPA Administrator Scott Pruitt. Thank you for watching the program. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more interesting content.